very much. Today we are going to talk about the easiest way for you to find and land a higher paying job offer in the next 30 days or less. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. So if you are looking for a job or you want to change jobs and you want to have that job and offer in your hand in the next 30 days, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. There's four things that I'm going to talk about today. Four. One is I'm going to talk about your resume, right? What your resume is and what it is not. What hiring managers are looking for the moment they pick up your resume. And if they don't see this, right, then they're not going to call you. All right. So I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Then I'm going to talk to you about how to find tens of thousands of jobs on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com that match exactly what you do, that you can apply to in seconds every single day to get noticed, get interviews, and get hired. I'm going to tell you, most people search wrong on the internet in terms of job boards. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Then I'm going to talk to you about job interviewing. I'm going to tell you the 6 to 8 job interview questions every hiring manager asks you. I'm going to tell you the 6 to 8 job interview questions every hiring manager asks you and how to answer those questions. I'm going to tell you why they ask you those questions. Like, why are they asking me this? I'm going to tell you why they ask you those questions. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you at the end how to send one email and get the hiring manager to easily give you $2,000 to $10,000 back, $10,000 extra from every single written offer you get. All right? They always say yes. And I'm going to explain to you how to do that. Okay? So if you're coming into the room and this is your first time ever seeing a live, let me just kind of give you a 5-second flyover of who I am. I've been in talent acquisition and recruiting as a senior leader, VP, or director for 35 years. I design the entire hire life cycle from the front end to the back end. So the applicant tracking system that your resume comes to, your application comes to, I design that application, right, to get your application in our system. The job boards that you apply to jobs on, I manage all of the job postings, right? I give the hiring manager all of the interview questions. I do all of the offers, onboarding, and I do all of the new hire orientations for the most part in most of the companies that I work for. So the entire hire life cycle that you have to go through to get hired with a company, I'm the one that creates that, right? I've been doing that for a long, long time. So I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look of what is actually going on so you're not clueless anymore, right? You're applying to jobs and nobody's calling you back and you don't know why. I'm going to tell you why. You're interviewing and you don't get an offer and you don't know why. I'm going to tell you why. I will tell you exactly why. So it's not a mystery anymore. Okay? So we're going to start with resumes. What the resume is and what the resume is not. This is important for you to understand because, see, I'm going to tell you first what the resume is not. Okay. Everyone thinks that the resume is a document that is supposed to only contain your skill, experience, education, and background as it relates to the jobs that you're applying to. That's what you think, right? And I'm going to tell you in 2026, your resume is more than that. Okay. I tell clients your resume is a marketing document. Okay. Do not just create your resume and slap your skill, experience, education, and background on it and think that that's enough for the hiring manager to give you a call. They're not going to call you. They're not. Why? Because they don't see what they want to see the moment they pick your resume up. And I'm going to share with you how I learned this as a recruiter, working as a senior recruiter in the call center. I'm going to tell you how I learned this and what I started doing differently to get you more interviews, right? So you think that if you take your skill, your education, your college, all that stuff, and you put it on a resume and you apply to an application, apply to a job, that is enough, right? That is enough for a hiring manager to see what they want to see to call you. It's not. They are not going to call. And you're going to wonder why. You're going to be like, I know I could do this job. I have experience doing this job. I've been doing this job. Why are they not calling me? I'm going to tell you why they're not calling you. There's three things every hiring manager wants to see the moment they pick your resume up. Three. And by the way, you do the same thing. You do the exact same thing when you're applying to jobs. And I learned this as a recruiter early in my career. You would call me and ask me these questions. And so I started saying, everybody's asking me the same question. I'm just going to create a job posting. And at this time, it was a newspaper ad. I'm just going to create an ad that tells them exactly what they're asking me. You guys were asking me the same exact questions. Okay. There's four things every candidate wants to know before they click apply to a job. You want to know this. And if you don't see it, you are not going to apply to the job. You won't, because you think it's a waste of your time, right? What are those four things? Number one, you want to know when you see a job posting, right? You want to know, what is the job doing? You see the job title, but you're asking yourself, what will I be doing? Right? That's first. You're not going to click apply and send your information if you don't know what you will be doing. The second thing you want to know is, okay, I see what the job is doing. Where is the job located? Where is it located? Okay. And so you want to know, is it close to where I live or not? Is it close? Is it 3 hours away or 15 minutes away? If it's too far, you're not going to click. You're not going to click in and put in, you're not going to apply to the job. The third thing you want to know, right, is, okay, I see the job is close to my house doing what I want to do. How much does it pay though? Right? That's the third thing you want to know. How much does this job pay? Right? Because if the pay is too low, you're not going to apply. And the last thing you want to know is, okay, if I apply to this job, what are my chances for getting a job interview that leads to a job offer? That's what you're asking, right? Now that speaks to, how long has this job been open or posted, and how many jobs are actually available, right? Those are the four things you want to know. So you will not click apply on that job if those questions are not answered for you when you look at the job post, because you think that you will be wasting your time, even if a recruiter called you, right? Like, I used to give you a call after you saw an ad and you would ask me these questions. So you don't want to waste your time. Well, hiring managers are the same way. Okay? They don't want to waste their time. They don't. So there are three things they want to see the moment they pick your resume up. And if they don't see these three things immediately, they won't call you. They'll just tell me, find me more people. Okay? So what are those three things? It's important for you to know this. Number one, the moment they pick your resume up, right? They know that they have the job description, they know what they want someone to do. They're asking themselves, okay, I know what I want someone to do. What does this person do? When they pick up your resume. Okay? I want you to think about your resume a little differently. I'm going to say something today that I haven't said on a live before, and I haven't said this in the training, but I'm going to give you an understanding. So they want to know, what do you do? The second thing, and when I say what you do, I'm not talking about your job title. I'm talking about the function of the work. Like, I'm a VP of talent acquisition and recruiting, but what I do is I'm a recruiter, right? I manage recruiters, manage recruiting. I get people hired for organizations. That's what I do. So if you're a CFO, what you do is not a CFO. You manage finances for a company. Payables, receivables, payrolls, reporting, right? That's what you do. You manage finances. If you are a channel sales representative or channel sales manager or director or VP, sales is what you do, right? That's what they want to know. Does this person do recruiting? Does this person manage finance? Does this person sell? Whatever the thing is you do in terms of the function of the work, that's what they want to know. The second thing they want to know is, how long have you done it? Now, the reason why they want to know how long you've done it because they need to understand if they're going to need to spend some extra time. This is how we categorize every single candidate. It doesn't matter who you are. You fall into one of three categories. You are either entry level, which 0 to 4 years, which means we're going to have to train you. You can't just be let go the day you get the job. Okay? You have to be trained. So it's going to take extra time for us to do that. The second thing is if you have 5 to 9 years experience, we know that you are mid-level. Now, you won't need as much training. You can do the job, but we don't trust you enough in terms of your expertise to give you everything without direct supervision, okay, or oversight. The next category is 10 or more years. We think that you're senior level, an expert at what you're doing, and we believe you don't need any training. You don't need anybody to look over your shoulder. You can take the whole job and start doing it day one, right? So that's how we categorize every candidate that comes in, every resume. How long have you been doing it? So if your resume is not clear on how long you've been doing it, they're going to throw it in the trash. It's going to be trashed. I'm telling you. Okay. And then the third thing they want to know is, and this is probably more important than anything else, and most people are missing this on their resume. It's how good are you at doing it? That is quantifiable evidence, numbers, percentages, revenue generated, cost savings. Like, how good are you at doing what you do? Most people don't have that on their resume. Hiring managers are trying to make a determination if you have done work at the level they need someone to do it. Now, when I say your captivating headline or your elevator pitch, I want you to think about it in the same way you think about a job posting announcement. That top line. So when I was recruiting for a call center, let's say we have a class of 25 people that we need to have 3 weeks from now. This is how I used to write the ads. Okay, and I still write it this way. We have 100 customer service call center jobs open in this city paying this amount, start immediately. That's what I used to say. That's what I call the captivating headline on a job posting. You need to have the same kind of thing on your resume as a captivating headline. Mine says, I'm a senior talent acquisition and recruiting leader with 35 years experience hiring 4,000 to 6,000 people annually for medium to large companies in the US. That's what hiring managers see the moment they open my resume. It answers their 3 questions immediately. Now, let me tell you how I found this out, okay? This is important. When I was a senior recruiter at a customer service call center, it was a 1,000 seat customer service call center. I would post a job that a hiring manager asked me to hire for, to screen candidates for. I would post those jobs. I would then interview you, right? I would grab your resume, look at it, call you, and do an interview. And I would say, wow, you are a perfect fit. You are exactly what the hiring manager told me they want. So I'm going to get you scheduled for an interview. That's what I would do, right? And then I would send your resume to the hiring manager the way you sent it to me. And they would tell me, nah, I don't want to talk to that person. Find me someone else. It blew me away. Like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You don't want to talk to this person. They have exactly what you're looking for. And they would say, no, Dan, just send me someone else. And I would press them and I'm like, what are you talking about? Why? And they would say to me, well, I hear what you're saying about this person. I just don't see it on their resume. And I said, what do you mean? It's right here. And I would explain to them, right? Show them. And they would still say to me, I don't want to talk to this person. So an HR director who was my manager many years ago, I used to go in there and complain to her and say, I cannot believe I'm working my butt off to get them great candidates. And they're turning all of them down. And I don't know why. And I would show her your resume. And she was a calm little lady. She was about 5 feet tall, short hair. And she said to me, why don't you do send an email out and do a survey and just ask them what they're looking for. So I said to her, I know what they're looking for. They told me in the meeting. They told me these are the three things that every candidate has to have. And she said, just send the email and see what they say. So that's what I did. I sent an email, and I see, because I used to think they were rejecting me, right? I thought they didn't like me as a person. Like, I'm on their team, but I didn't think they liked me, right? So many times I wanted to just quit, go find another job. I just thought it was just, I'm over here working my butt off for you. You're just telling me no for no reason, right? So I sent the email out, and I got responses back. And this is what they told me. They said, Dan, it looks like the candidates you're sending us are pretty good candidates. I'm sure they're good. However, we don't see what we want to see when we see the resume. I don't see what you're talking about. I hear you telling, and I said, okay, what do you want to see? And that's when they told me what they wanted to see. And a light bulb went off. Oh, that's what they want to see the moment I send the resume to them. Oh, so then I started looking back at all of the resumes that I submitted to them, and I said, wow, this is missing. Now, not missing from your resume. What they wanted to see was not in plain sight. So they had to dig for it, try to figure it out. That's what the deal was. They didn't see it. So what were those three things? What you do, how long you've done it, and how good you are at doing it. Okay. So I started changing your resume. So I would interview you, and then I would say to you, okay, so I'm going to submit you for this job, but I'm going to change your resume, because if I submit your resume like this, the hiring manager is going to tell me they don't want to talk to you. So are you okay with me changing your resume? And you would say, sure. So I would rework your resume, and then I would send it back to you the way I knew the hiring manager wanted to look at it. And then I would say, you see, is this okay? And you would be like, yeah, that's fine. It looks great. Then I would submit it to the hiring manager, and then you would get an interview. I went from 2 out of every 10 candidates that I submitted to a hiring manager getting a job, 2 out of every 10 to 8 out of every 10. I started having 80% success rate submitting candidates who got interviews. And we fill that call center up fast. Okay. Why? Because the hiring managers, they were telling me, but I wasn't understanding, this is what they wanted to see, and they felt like they were wasting their time. So that was the issue. So over the course of the past 25 plus years, I have trained my team, and I have personally changed people's resumes, because I know, and by the way, I've had 5 jobs in the last 25 years. And every single hiring manager since 25, almost 26 years ago, they all want to see the exact same thing. So I change everybody's resume. Everyone. If it doesn't come across to me, now I'm not going to not interview you because I don't see it that way. I am going to interview you because I know what I'm looking for, right? But I know that hiring manager is not going to interview you if it's not positioned the way they want to. If it doesn't show them what they want to see the moment they look at it. So if you are someone, you're submitting your resume and no one is interviewing you and you don't know why, this is why. Hiring managers think you are a waste of their time. Okay. So a client on my fast track program asked me, what do you mean when you say they feel like I'm a waste of their time? So let's just say a hiring manager doesn't see what they want to see on your resume initially, and it takes them, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to go to through your resume to try to figure it out, right? And let's say at the end of that 3 minutes, they realize you're not a fit, and so they discard you or disposition you in the system, or ask me to disposition you in the system, right, as not qualified. Let's say that happens. If they do that with 20 resumes, They just wasted an hour of their day. 1 hour. If they do that with 40 resumes, that's 2 hours wasted. Hiring managers don't want to waste their time. They don't. What I do all day is I look at resumes, interview candidates, and submit them for hire, right? It's what I do all day, but it's not what a hiring manager does all day. This is a very small percentage of their job, hiring people, right? So they feel like it's a waste of time. So when I submit candidates, when I was submitting candidates who were not a fit, thank you, Chrissy, they would actually come to me and say, Dan, get me more candidates. Now, I'm gonna tell you something else. Check this out. So if they go through a bunch of candidates and they don't see what they want to see, tell me if you have ever seen this happen. You would get a rejection letter, and then you know you're qualified. You would see a week later they close the position, and then a day later they open the position again. You ever see that happen? Type yes in the chat if you've ever seen that happen. I'll tell you why they do it, right? So they're getting these candidates, they're not seeing what they want to see, and they come to me and then they'll say, Dan, here's what I want you to do. Please just close the position or repost it. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get the position back up to the top so more candidates can see it, and they're hoping they're going to get newer candidates. But I tell the hiring managers, that's not why people are not applying to the job. That's not why you're not getting candidates. That's not the reason why. So reposting it is not the issue. Okay? But we repost it. That's what's happening. They're seeing candidate resumes. They don't think they're getting what they want to see because they think it's a waste of time. So they come to talent acquisition and recruiting and say, repost it. So I then go into that job posting, look at the requisition and all of the candidates, and without telling them that I pulled you from that requisition they asked me to close, I have the conversation with you, rework your resume, send it to them, and you get interviewed. Hiring managers don't want to waste their time. So if you are not getting interviewed, it's because they think you're a waste of time. People are not telling you that, but that's the truth. I've been in recruiting and talent acquisition for 36 years. This is what they do. Okay? So I'll review your resume for free today. I'll give you an honest review. If you email me a copy of your resume, and I'm only going to take 100 people today, 100. If you email me a copy, I'll respond and tell you, this is what I see. This is what is missing. Add this. The goal is for you to get more interviews. That's the goal. I'll do it for free. People always ask me, how much is your free review? It's free. I will tell you exactly what you need to change, add, or subtract. And I will give you a grade. People ask me, why did you rate it that? When I look at your resume, I'm looking at your resume from the perspective of a hiring manager. If I don't see what the hiring manager told me they want to see, I'm going to tell you honestly. Now, you could change it yourself. I'm going to give you that information to change it. Do whatever you want. There is an option in there for me to do it, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to use my option. Don't do that. But you get a free review. So you at least know where you stand. My email address is right here. It's daniel@dscds.com. 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 Okay, that's what my email address is. Now, let me tell you one other thing. So if the hiring manager sees your captivating headline, what you do, how long you've done it, how good you are at doing it, numbers, quantifiable evidence, proof that you've done something, then they're going to look at that first page for two more things. I tell people a summary of accomplishments, show them 10 things that you've done in your career in bullet form that's tied to quantifiable accomplishments, 10 things that you've done in your career that are highlighted, right? Summaries, just a one sentence with numbers though, percentages, numbers has to be, okay? And then they want to know what your areas of expertise are. These are things that you can do with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back, okay? None of this works if you don't have a resume that a hiring manager says, Yes, I want to interview that person. If you're working with a recruiter, you apply to a job and you're working with a recruiter, and that recruiter comes back to you and says, I sent your resume to the hiring manager. They said no. And they didn't change your resume to show the hiring manager what they want. They did you a disservice. They have to know what the hiring manager wants to see. And I'm telling you that so you can submit your resume to the hiring manager or the recruiter and not have that be an issue. Because it's going to be an issue. I'm telling you, this is not new. Okay. I've been doing this for 25 years. So if you're struggling to try to get interviews, you're not getting interviews, and you're like, oh my God, everybody's rejecting me. What's wrong with me? It's nothing wrong with you, right? It's your resume. So when I started changing people's resumes, I tell candidates this: it's not you. You're the same person. You're the same person that submitted that resume initially. What changed? It wasn't you. You still can do the same job. It's the information that the hiring manager received, what they saw. That's what changed. And that's why they interviewed you. Now, once you interview, then you could take it from there. You'll do whatever you have to do to make things happen, tell the hiring manager what they want to see. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. But you won't even get your foot in the door if your resume is broken. Okay, so if you want me to review your resume for free, and I see that you guys are already sending me your resume, I'll review it for free. Free is free. Now there will be an option in there for me to if you want me to do it, but you don't have to do it with me. Just follow what I'm telling you, right? Tiara, Denise, John, Shantae, Linda, Deidre, Sarita, Kamaludin, Pious. I see your resumes here. Okay. LaKimberly, I see you just sent yours. I can take another 85 people. You send me a copy of your resume. I will respond today. Today, I'll respond and tell you, tweak this, fix this. The goal is for you to get more job interviews. Okay. If you can't get job interviews, you can't get job offers. All right. Now that your resume is fixed, we're going to talk about how to properly search for jobs and apply to jobs in seconds on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com. Now, I want you to think differently about your resume. Please listen to me for 5 seconds. I told you your resume is a marketing document. Okay, you have to market yourself to hiring managers to get them to see what they want to see so they can call you. But you can't do it to just, like, you're not going to be memorable if you only do it to one hiring manager, right? I'm going to show you how to apply to 100 jobs in 30 minutes so you can get on with your day, right? This is a big issue. See, when you apply to 1 or 2 jobs a day, you're relying on hiring managers to go through 200 resumes to find you. If your resume is broken, no one's going to call you and you're going to get rejections. But I'm going to share something else with you about the jobs that you're actually applying to, what's going on with that, and why you're not getting calls back. I'm going to tell you that too. So you're going to have to learn how to apply to jobs in volume. And I'm going to tell you an easy, simple way to, one, find the right jobs for you, paying what you want, where you want to work, doing what you want to do. I'm going to show you the easy way to do that. And then I'm going to show you the easy way to apply to those jobs. This is what I share with everyone on my Fast Track program. And many of you have asked about the Fast Track program. It's the 30-day program where I am your recruiter, walking side by side with you. I do all of the interview prep. I take care of your resume. I do your LinkedIn profile. I do all of your one-on-one coaching so you can get a job in 22 to 30 days. I offer written on the table, right? So, and I don't take a lot of people each month because it's a lot of people that want to be on the Fast Track program, and I can only take so many, right? Because I'm one person. But I'm your recruiter, and we meet on a weekly basis, and I go over everything with you. But I get you completely set up so you can start applying to jobs faster. So this is what I tell people. So I have a client. His name is John. He's on my fast track program. He's been trying to find a job for 8 months. 8 months. And he came to one of my trainings and said, Dan, I need your help. My unemployment is run out. My severance is run out. I got to find a job. 30 years experience as a sales account manager. He says, man, there's no jobs out there. How can you help me? And I said, John, there are thousands of jobs out there. Right now on LinkedIn, there's 5.4 million open jobs. 5.4 million open jobs. And I'm saying, you're saying there's no jobs open. No, the issue is not, are there any jobs open? The issue is, do you know how to find them? So now that you're on the fast track program, we're going to do a one-on-one coaching call, and I want you to show me what you're doing. So what we did is we fixed his resume. I fixed his LinkedIn profile, and then I said, okay, now you're ready to start searching for jobs. But before I show you what I do, I want you to show me what you do. And that's what he did. I did the same thing yesterday with another client on the fast track program who's an warehouse operations manager. This is what happened. So I said, what I want you to do is share your screen and show me on LinkedIn how you would normally search for a job. And that's what he did. So he typed in his previous job title, Senior Sales Account Manager. That's what he typed in, right? And I said, okay, don't click another filter. And I said, just click search. 5,400 jobs showed up, okay? Now, you think that's a lot of jobs, but let me explain something to you. I told him, I said, Ron, half of those jobs are already filled and closed. He says, how do you know that? I said, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, they do not take down our job postings from their site until 30 to 60 days after we close them in our ATS. They don't take them down. So you're going to apply to this job thinking that it's open, and you're going to immediately get a rejection letter saying, thank you, but no thank you. And you're not going to know why. You're going to know, he says, that happens to me all the time. Yes, you are applying to jobs that are closed. You're searching the wrong way. Okay. So I said, let's work through the filters. So that's what we did. How much money do you want to make? 120,000 or more. So we click that. Where's your level of expertise? He's a director level. So we click that. We clicked all of the things that we're supposed to click. And then I told him, now click search. 18 jobs showed up. I said, is this how you're searching? He said, yes. I said, that's why you don't think there are any jobs open. That's not how you're supposed to search. You have to learn how to search like a recruiter. This is what I train every recruiter to do when they're trying to find you. Okay, so I said, we're going to start this search over, and I'm going to have you do it my way, and you will see the difference. So we went back to the beginning of the search. I had him type in his job title the same way, and then I said, take this word out, take that word out, take this word out, leave this word in. That's the only word I want you to have in there. And then I said, now click search. And he clicked search. 440,000 jobs came up from that search. 440,000. Okay? Now we know half of those jobs are not open. So I said to him, he asked me, how did you do that? I said, Ron, you don't search for jobs based on your job title, your previous job title. That's not how the job boards work. You have to search for jobs based on your single word job function. Even though I'm a VP of talent acquisition and recruiting, I'm a recruiter that does recruiting. So I type recruiting or recruiter. I don't type in VP of talent acquisition. You're not going to get results back, right? I type in recruiting, recruiter. So I had him type in sales, right? So I said, that's first. Now that we have 440,000 jobs, we know that not all of these jobs are open. So here's how we're going to filter. First, you're going to go to the filter that shows when the job was posted. Has to be 30 days or less. So that's what we did. Jobs posted within the last 30 days. It took it all the way down to 200,000. So from 440 down to 200,000. Okay, so I said, now, all of these positions, not all of them are senior level. Okay, now we're going to sort it by your level of expertise, senior manager, director level. So then we did that, got it all the way down to like 50,000 jobs. Okay, from 200,000, now we're down to 50,000. And I said, okay, what kind of money do you want to make? He says 120 to 160. So I said, okay, click on $120,000 or more. Okay, and it took it down to like 43,000. Okay, so now we're at 43,000. And I said, are you open to work remote, local, whatever? Yes. Okay, all right. So we don't have to do anything with that. So we got down to 44,000 jobs that perfectly match his qualifications as a senior sales and account manager. Okay. And then I said to him, now some of these applications will take you 40 minutes to do one application. You can't do that. So I'm gonna have you do one more thing. I want you to go over and toggle onto easy apply. And I want you to click on easy apply and then click search. It took it down to like 41,000 jobs. I said, now what we just created is a premium search for you. You don't even have to read the job descriptions because it's at your level, doing exactly what you want to do, making the money that you want to make, all of that. And this application, this easy apply application, it will take you 21 seconds or less to apply to the job. So I said, what I want you to do right now is I want you to apply to 15 jobs. And I sat there and watched him. It took 5 minutes for him to apply to 15 jobs. Right? And I said, okay, that's how easy it is once you get the search set up correctly. And then I said, this is what you are going to do every day, 7 days a week. I call it my 3730 strategy for applying for jobs. I said, you're going to apply to 30 jobs, easy apply, one click apply, or quick apply on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and LinkedIn. You're going to apply to 30 jobs per day, 7 days a week, 90 jobs a day, 630 a week. I said, it's going to take you 30 minutes to apply to 30 jobs. 30 minutes. You get up in the morning, you're going to have your coffee, you're going to apply to your 30 jobs, and you're going to go on about your day. And I said, then you're going to come back later that evening, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and you're going to see everybody that has responded to you saying they're interested in interview you. What? First, your resume is straight. Your LinkedIn profile is straight. Your Indeed and ZipRecruiter profile is straight. So your resume is correct on there. So now they're seeing a resume that gets their attention. So they're going to start talking to you and saying, okay, so this is what happened. True story. He applied to those jobs week 1. And week 2, he got 4 interviews. Remember, I told you the guy had not been working for 8 months. This is a true story. This guy's still on my fast track program. I talked to him yesterday. He had another interview, and he has 2 more interviews this week. But he had 4 interviews in week 2. And week 3, which was a week and a half ago, he had 2 offers. 2 offers, right? That he was trying to consider. But he had another final interview yesterday. And he has 2 more interviews this week, one today and one Friday. He's sitting on 2 offers right now. I am sure, based on what he told me about his final interview yesterday, he's interviewing finally. He already interviewed with the hiring manager, but he was interviewing with the HR director. I said, they're going to make you an offer. You don't go back from the hiring manager to HR if they're not going to make you an offer. If they wanted to reject you, they would have told you via email. They're going to make you an offer. So 3 offers this guy got. He's been doing this for 8 months. He's only been on the fast track program for 20, 22, 23 days. Right? So what's the difference? It's not him. He's the same guy. He just has no idea about how to search for jobs, no idea how to find jobs, or his resume was all jacked up. He had no idea. Now the guy's sitting on 3 offers, and I bet you at the end of this week, he'll get another one. And he can choose what he wants. If you have 4 offers on the table, one of them pays 100, one of them pays 120, one pays 160, you can do whatever you want to do. Pick whichever job you want. And that's the situation that he's in. The operations manager out of California, the warehouse operations manager, same thing. She started the fast track program in the middle of March. She worked for a large global apparel company that closed their warehouse in California. Her severance was running out. She was running out of her unemployment too. Same thing. I talked to her not last Sunday, the Sunday before last. So it's been a week and a half for her. It took her 3 days to get an interview. What's my point? I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying most people don't know how to search for jobs. So you don't think there are any jobs open. And if you're applying to jobs, I don't care if you apply to 20,000 jobs, if your resume is jacked up, it doesn't show the hiring manager what they want to see, they're not going to call you. I don't care how good you are. It doesn't matter. I've experienced it firsthand. And I'm a recruiter working for that hiring manager. And it wasn't until I started changing people's resumes. So if you want me to review your resume for free, I'll review it for free. I see a bunch of you have sent your resumes to me. Gamali, Melissa, B, Felicia, Adwale, Janelle, OGN, GEN, Jabril, John, Kim, Billy, Nikita. I see you guys have sent me your resume. If you want me to review your resume for free, I'll review it for free. I can take 70 more people. That's it. If you want me to review your resume, email it to me, daniel@dscds.com. That's daniel@dscds.com. daniel@dscds.com. So that's how you search for jobs. Now, what happened when Ron started getting interviews? I do this with everybody on the Fast Track program. I did an interview prep. I told Ron, there are 6 to 8 questions. Everybody's going to ask you the same question. And I said, now that you have done all of the work with your resume, you got the job, you've applied to these jobs, and now you have job interviews, man, don't blow it. Don't blow it. They're going to ask you these questions. And this is the reason why. So first I had to tell them, I need to let you know what the job interview is about. I know you are desperate. You are hungry because you need to get this job, but I don't want you to blow it. You got to understand what the job interview is all about. He says, well, I'm just going to sell myself in the interview. And I said, no, don't do that. No, please do not do it. Don't sell yourself. You don't have to do that. That's not what the job interview is about. I said, you are not going to talk about your previous work experience at all in the interview. Don't even talk about it because we have your resume. We already know about your previous experience. Why are you telling us what we already know? So what do hiring managers want to know? I'm going to explain it to you this way. Now, I want you to leave your answer in the chat. So imagine I come to your city and you and I are going to have lunch. We're having lunch, right? And all of a sudden I get a call and it's an emergency. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to come. I'll be there shortly, right? You hear me say that. And then I say to you, I'm sorry. I really apologize. I just got a call. It's an emergency. Can I borrow your car? What's your answer? What are you going to say? Yes or no? Can I borrow your car? Jay says, nope. You can't borrow my car. Can I borrow your car? Will you let me borrow it? Most people say no. Juan says, yes, you're a nice guy. And I hope you don't drive a hoopty, Juan. But if you drive a nice car, I'm not letting you borrow my car. You can't, I'll take you where you want to go, but you're not borrowing my car. F&P says, no. Why won't I let you borrow my car? Because I don't know you. Kane says, no, I can get you an Uber. That was good. Nobody's ever said that, Kane. I don't know you. So I'm not going to let you borrow my car. Listen, if I let you borrow my car and you wreck it, I'm the only one that is going to feel that pain, me. Because now I don't have transportation. So I'm not going to let you borrow my car. No. And I doubt it that you would let me borrow yours. That's what the job interview is about. This is what I try to explain to every client and candidate on the Fast Track program. This is what the job interview is about. It's about you saying to the hiring manager, telling you, wait a minute, I see you can do the job. In other words, I see you have a driver's license, but I'm not comfortable letting you borrow my car yet. I see you can do the job. I'm not comfortable giving you the job yet because I don't know you. So sit tight. Let me ask you some interview questions so that I can learn about you. That's what the job interview is about. They want to try to see if they can trust you, depend on you, and rely on you. So they're going to ask you questions to see what your underlying motivation is. Are you a risky hire? And are you a rambler or a talker, an undisciplined talker? That's what they're trying to figure out. Okay? So they're trying to get to know you. So there are 6 questions. 3 are behavior based, 3 are non-behavior based. You will get every time. I'm going to tell you why they ask them. And I'm going to tell you what the questions are. And I'm going to tell you why you should answer it this way. Okay? Now you could put your spin on it, your version on it. You could do whatever you want. But if you don't get a job offer from an interview and you track it back to what I'm about to tell you, you will see that what I'm telling you is 100% true. Okay? Remember, I work with hiring managers, so I'm asking hiring managers, why did you, that person was perfectly qualified. Why did you turn that person down? This is what they say. Well, I asked them questions and they were actually talking, but they didn't answer the questions I was asking. Now, you think that you are answering the questions that they're asking, but if you don't know the meaning behind the question they're asking, the reason why they're asking it, you will be answering a question and your answer will be sounding like it's a foreign language to them. So, number 1, the hiring manager is trying to get to know you as a person. Okay? They want to know if they can trust you to give you the keys and that you will bring the job back safely, like your car. Okay? Think about it from that perspective every time you go to an interview, because that's exactly what they're looking for. So, what questions are they going to ask you? Now, the moment you go to an interview and you sit down, the very first question you are going to get, and tell me yes or no in the chat if you've ever gotten this question, they're going to say, tell me about yourself. Type yes or no in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Yes or no. Have you ever gotten that question? Jay says yes. Yes. Oh, Odd says yes. Bree says yes. Everybody's saying yes. I get that question. Why are they asking it? Please listen to me. Please, please, I'm praying. Listen to me. This is why they ask it. That question is an icebreaker. It's not an opportunity for you to give them your biography. Please don't tell them all about your work history and where you went to school and your school mascot and what your elementary school teacher did. Don't do that. Please don't do that. If you do that, this interview will be over after the first question. So what do I tell people on my Fast Track program? This is what I tell them. I say, you're going to pick 4 of your best character traits. 4. Hardworking, committed, loyal, team player, honest, whatever those 4 character traits are, professional character traits. You're going to pick those 4 character traits and then say, and I'm someone you never have to worry about whether this job is going to get done or not. Okay. So I'm a hardworking, committed, loyal team player who values team success far above individual success. And I am someone you never have to worry about whether this job is going to get done or not. That's how you answer it. You'll notice I didn't say anything about my previous work history because that's not why we're asking. It's an icebreaker. They're just trying to get to know you. Okay? So please don't go down a rabbit hole and talk about your kindergarten teacher shoe color. Okay? Please don't do that. you won't get the job. I promise you, you won't. You're going to come back to this and you're going to say, he said that. Yes. Don't make the mistake, please. I'm telling you what to do. All right. Second question you're going to get. And by the way, I got your emails. Shan, Crystal, Sean, Nelson, Alice, Malialia, Ozella, Faye, Farah, Tiana, Josh or Jassa, Jasha. I got your resumes. Thank you guys for sending your resume. I'll respond to your resume today. I'll give you a free review today and tell you exactly what's missing, what needs to be added, what you can change. You could fix it yourself. If you want me to do it, there will be an option in there for me to do it, but you could do it yourself, or I could do it, right? Depending on what you want. So thank you guys so much for sending your resume. If you want me to review your resume for free, email it to me, daniel@dscds.com. How much does it cost for a free review, Daniel? It's free. I don't charge anything to review your resume. Okay, it's free. Email it. Okay, now, second question they're going to ask you. We have your resume, so we know if you're working or not. Let's say you're working. They're going to say, why are you looking to leave your current job? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question before. Yes or no in the chat. Why are you looking to leave your current job? What's your yes or no? Have they ever asked you that? Everybody's typing yes. Nakia, yes. Honeybee, yes, 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 yes. Why do they ask that? Listen, we are trying to assess risk. Are you going to be a risky hire and leave us? Now, I want you to listen to me, because 99% of people get this wrong. But I'm going to tell you what not to say. I'm also going to tell you what to say. Now, you do not say, well, I'm looking to leave my current job because I am looking for a better opportunity. I'm looking for growth. I'm looking for a job that pays more. No, don't say that. Because this is what the hiring manager thinks. Oh, if I hire you and a better opportunity comes along, you're going to leave me just like you're leaving this job. So no, thank you. I'm not going to hire you because you're too risky. That's exactly what they're thinking. Remember, I'm the one that has these conversations with the hiring managers, and so anytime I prep a candidate, I say, ask this question. And if that's what their response is, I say, do not say that. You think you're showing them that you're ambitious. They're just thinking you are risky. And they're not going to hire you. They're not going to hire you. Do you hear me? Okay. So if you are working and you want to leave your job, you simply say, hey, where I'm working, it's a great company, but my goals and values, they no longer align with that company. I've done my research. I believe they align more here. Okay. That's what you say. Now, if you are not working, you've been laid off, or you have a gap in your employment and you haven't worked for a week, a month, a year, you simply say, the reason why I'm not working at my previous job is because I was laid off. Now, in HR, we know laid off has a broad term. It's a broad term, a bunch of definitions. It could mean merger and acquisition, company closed, fired, or terminated. It can mean a lot of different things. We don't question it when you say you were laid off. So say you were laid off, please. All right? Now, thank you guys so much. I'm going to tell you the next question they're going to ask you. Makisha, Jabari, Namvula, Dario, Sharita, Erica, Tremaine, Christina, thank you guys so much for sending your resume. I do have it. I can take another 49 people. If you want to email me your resume to get a free review, I'll review your resume for free. All right. Then they're going to ask you this question. They're going to say, okay, I see you are working over there, and that's a pretty good company. Why do you want to work here? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Why do you want to work here? I'm going to tell you why they're asking that question. Okay? Why do you want to work here? Kane, yes. Snap, yes. Michelle, yes. FMP, yes. Millennia, everybody's saying yes. VJ, yes. J Main, yes. Everybody's saying yes. Well, here's the reason why we asked that question. What we're trying to do is now we're trying to understand your underlying motivation. Like, really, why do you want to work over here? Like, what are you trying to get from us? That's kind of what we're thinking, right? Why do you want to work here? So this is how I advise everyone, especially on my fast track program. I tell people this: when you are interviewing and they ask you this question, you say this: well, I've done my research on the company and you guys are the best and I want to work for the best. Now that underlying motivation is what hiring managers are most interested in hearing. Okay? So those are three non-behavior based questions you will get. Now I'm going to tell you the best way to answer behavior based questions using the STAR interview answer framework. The STAR interview answer framework. No one else will tell you to do it this way. People's brain gets so scrambled when they are asked behavior-based questions because they don't understand the foundation, the reason behind why we're asking it. And so you're trying to pull a story out of your brain and it just ain't happening. We had 9,800 likes. I want everybody, we have 137 people in the room. I want you to take just 10 seconds and tap the screen 40 times real quick. 10 seconds, tap the screen 40 times real quick, and we'll be at 15,000. That's it. Thank you guys so much. We're just telling the algorithm, tell people to come over here and want to get jobs and fast. All right. So, what is a behavior-based question and what is the purpose behind it? What we're trying to understand is how you would act in a real life situation. So that's why we ask you. Again, we're trying to predict future behavior. We want to see if we can trust you. We want to see if you're risky. We want to see if you can make the decision in a real situation. Okay? So we ask you behavior-based questions to determine that. Behavior-based questions, the way you should answer them is you should use the STAR interview answer framework. Now, let me explain to you what that is. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. But I'm going to tell you the best way to use it. So when they ask you a question, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult coworker. What was the situation and how did you respond? They're trying to see how you would deal with difficult people. Here is how you expertly use STAR. When I'm prepping people on the fast track program, I say you have to call out each acronym before you give your response. So you have to say it like this. Well, the situation was I was working with a coworker on a project that I was leading and they were not being cooperative. See what I just did? And then you say, the task was, and then you explain it. The action I took was, and then you explain the action. The result I got was, and you explain that result. This stops you from rambling and going down a rabbit hole. Okay? If you don't answer using the STAR interview answer framework in that way, it's going to be disastrous for you. I promise you it is. What are we at? So make sure you are answering the interview questions like that. We're at 15,600. Thank you guys so much. In just a second, I'm going to ask you to get us to 25,000. So just keep tapping the screen until we get to 20. So watch this. So that's how you answer behavior-based questions. You got to say, this is the situation. This is what the task was. This is the action I took. And this is the result I got. That stops you from going down a rabbit hole. Now, if you are a leader, a supervisor, manager, director, C-level executive, you are going to get a minimum of 2 additional questions so that we can understand your makeup as a leader. Question number 1, they're going to ask you, what is your leadership style? Why are we asking that? Okay. Are you a little bit of country? Are you a little bit of R&B? Or are you a little bit of rock and roll? What is your style? We're trying to see if it's something we can relate to. So let me tell you how I tell people on the fast track program to answer that question. You always say, well, my style is about accountability. I hold myself accountable to a high standard, and I hold my team accountable to a high standard. We always get the job done. Accountability is my style. Okay? Hiring managers like that. They want to know they don't have to worry about you and your team. Okay? And then one final question you're going to get as a leader is this. So tell me, how would you handle it if someone on your team were to consistently underperform based on the expectations, what are you going to do? Now, I tell leaders, don't get fancy. Don't start talking about the time you helped Samuel get out of his funk, or you took care of Sherry and retrained her and she started to be a top performer. Don't do that. Stop it. Okay? You want to give a simple answer. You want to simply say, well, if someone on the team is consistently underperforming, I'm going to follow the progressive disciplinary policy of the company. Okay? That's what you say. So that could be a initial verbal coaching and counseling, second written coaching and counseling, third written coaching and counseling, and then termination. That's how you want to answer it. That's what hiring managers want to hear. That's what HR professionals like me, that's what we want to hear. Okay? So that's how you answer it. That's how you answer their interview questions. Now, once they ask you these interview questions, they're going to transition and start telling you all about the job and what it does and the problem they want someone to solve for them. Now, none of this matters. None of it matters if your resume is not getting any interviews. If you're submitting your resume to hiring managers and no one's calling you back, you won't make it to the interview. Just like what I was doing when I was trying to submit candidates in that call center, no one was getting interviewed because their resume didn't show the hiring manager exactly what they wanted to see. So I'll review your resume for free today. I'll respond to it today to let you know you need to change this, add this, correct this. You'll see. Okay? Free. Free is free. So people ask me about my fast track program. If you are interested in knowing what is this fast track all about, all you have to do is DM me, send me a DM with the word fast track. DM me with the word fast track, or email me with the word fast track, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll just send you a message and let you know this is what the fast track program is. You could do it if you want to. It's completely up to you. It's not going to change anything in my life. I want to make sure that I'm providing something for you guys, but I'll show you exactly. But I'm telling you exactly what we do on the fast track program here. Now, after they ask you all these questions, they're going to start talking to you about, thank you, Crystal, for the gift, Chrissy. They're going to start talking to you about the job. This is not a problem-solving session. So don't start talking about how you solve these same problems other places. You don't have to sell yourself. Stop trying to sell yourself in an interview. Stop it. Stop trying to sell yourself. It just makes you look cheap. Did you hear me? Don't sell yourself in an interview. It makes you look cheap. Stop it. Just listen. That's all they want you to do. Is hiring manager wants you to listen. Just listen. They're going to tell you everything. So just listen. All right. Now, after they said everything, they're going to say this. Well, that's all I have to share. And then they're going to ask you this question. Tell me if you've ever gotten this question. Do you have any questions for me? Type yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Yes in the chat if you've ever gotten that question. Wendy, yes. Nika, yes. FMP, yes. Mr. Addictive, yes. Good, yes. Otis, yes. Nakia, yes. Maine, yes. JJB, yes. Everybody saying yes. Why are we asking you that? Do we actually want you to ask us questions? No. Don't ask us questions. We don't want you to ask questions. It's just a close. Okay? I know you're smart. I know you're interested. I know you want to try to sell yourself to the hiring manager, so you have prepared 35 questions to ask the hiring manager to prove to them that you're interested in the job. Don't do that. You are going to lose the job. You don't ask questions. There's only one question you should ask. Now, I tell people this. There's no question that you should ask when you are interviewing that's important that you should not know before you walk in the door. Like salary range, culture of the company, how long they've been around, what is their product, their vision, mission, core values, all of those things you should know. Now, why do I say don't ask hiring managers questions? They're going to lie to you anyway. They're not going to tell you that the environment stinks or that the directors are micromanagers or that we're losing money. They're not going to tell you that. They're not. So don't ask them. What keeps you up late at night? What is the 30? What does success look like in 30 days? They don't know. So I tell people on the fast track program, stop asking questions. You will learn that once you get started. In the job that I recently had, no one told me that the CFO who was over HR was a major, mega micromanager. No one said to me in an interview, oh, and by the way, you're not going to be able to make any decisions without first running it past the CFO. I would have said, nope, she can keep this job. I don't want it. I don't work like that. I don't need anybody looking over my shoulders, and I don't need her advice, especially she's not a recruiter. No, don't need to run anything by her. I'll get it done. No one told me that. Why didn't they tell me that? Because they didn't want to run me away. And if the hiring manager likes you, they are not going to run you away. They don't want to run you away, so they're not going to. So stop asking them questions. We know you smart. We know that you will have to learn that stuff when you get in the organization. This is about you getting an offer. So there is one question you should ask. One. What is that one question? And there's a reason why you want to ask. It's very strategic. Okay? I never want you to walk out of a job interview, right? Leave it and not know if they're going to make you an offer. So I'm going to show you how to find out. So what I tell everybody that I work with, this is the question you ask. At the end of the interview, they're going to say, that's all I have. Thank you so much for coming. Do you have any questions for me? You're going to say, yes, I've learned so much. Thank you so much. I do have one question for you. When would you like for me to get started? That's what you ask. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, you are assuming, in sales we call that, you're assuming the sale. You are assuming the job. You're assuming that they're going to tell you yes. So you need to find out if they're actually going to tell you yes. Now, if they respond like this and tell me yes or no, if you've ever gotten this in the chat, tell me yes or no. If they say, well, we do have several other candidates that we need to interview, and once we've interviewed everyone, then we will make a decision about who we want to get started. Tell me if you've ever heard that at the end of an interview. Yes or no? JJB says yes. Honeybee says yes. Ugg says yes. Wendy, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Everybody's saying yes. Yes. They're not interested in hiring you if they say that. It's done. You're over. It's over. You're finished. There's nothing you could say to make them say yes. They have already decided you are not it. It's over. So don't waste your time. Go keep on looking because you're not getting this job. Okay? Now, how do you know if they want to make you an offer and are going to make you an offer? This is how. Okay? So imagine at the end, they say to you, okay, that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me? And then you say, yes, I do have one question. When would you like for me to get started? And they say this, well, the next steps are someone from talent acquisition or recruiting or HR is going to call you. They're going to have you complete your application. Then we're going to have you do all of your paperwork. And then you have to do a background check and a drug screen. And once we do all that, then you have to get scheduled for new hire orientation. And we're looking to have somebody start on April 13th. Are you available to start then? If they give you that, tell me in the chat, yes, if you ever heard that before. They are going to make you a job offer. You are it. Now, how do I know this? I have a requirement. Addictive, yes. Honeybee, yes. Everybody's saying yes in the chat. I have a requirement as a VP of talent acquisition. I have a requirement for every hiring manager. I tell them, you must give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down within 30 minutes following your interview. Now, you may not make this person an offer if you say thumbs up, but you need to give me yes or no. Here's why. If that person is a no, I don't want them blowing up your phone and calling you to see what the deal is. Let me handle it. Okay? So if you tell me no, I will call them and tell them no. I'm not going to send them an email. I'm going to call them. I don't want them calling you. So they're like, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. If they are a yes, I need to call them to keep them warm because I don't want you to make a final decision a week from now and choose that person and they already have a job because nobody communicated with them. So tell me right now, thumbs up or thumbs down. And I write a code on the top of your application. 1110, I'm sorry, 110 or 1101. That's a yes or a no. If you are a 110, you're a no. If you're an 1101, you're a yes. Okay? And that's how we communicated. So you're not left in limbo. Type yes in the chat if you've ever been left in limbo and no one called you. And a week later, you get a freaking rejection email and they didn't have the professional courtesy to give you a call. Look at everybody saying yes in the chat. Yes, that's not fair to you. You invested your time going to this interview. Somebody should at least call you back. That's not fair. So I call everyone. You're going to hear my voice, my mouth. I'm sorry. This is what the hiring manager said. Make sure when you go to your next interview, these are the things you work on and correct. You understand? All right. So now that you understand how that you're going to get an offer, now an offer is going to come, and it is time for you to send one email and get $2,000 to $10,000 more from every written job offer. The hiring manager is going to tell you, yes, I'm going to tell you how. Okay. Now, many of you have sent your resumes to me. Linda Sia, Denise, Randall, Jordan, Rita, Michelle, Farah, Kennedy, Testa, Isabella, Tamara, Thomas, Leroy, Gracia, Wanda, Nervelli, Rita. I see you guys have sent your resume. I can take 26 more people. That's it. 26. If you want me to review your resume for free, I'll review your resume for free and tell you, change this, tweak this. The whole purpose is so you can get more interviews. If you don't get, listen, if your resume is not correct, if your resume does not attract the attention of hiring managers and recruiters and show them what they want to see, none of what I'm telling you right now matters because you're not going to get an interview and it's not going to change. I don't care if you apply to 25,000 jobs. No one's going to call you because they don't see what they want to see. End of story. That's how it works. All right. So now you're getting an offer. Let me explain to you how I deal with offers. So let's say you and I are working together. You came and you're interviewing for the job, and we talk about pay and pay range in the pre-screening. So let's say the job, for this example, is 90 to 95, 90 to 100,000. I will tell you, will you take 95,000 if we offered it? That's initially. This is before I submit you to the hiring manager. So you say, yeah, 95 is great. Definitely where I want to be. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to submit your information to the hiring manager and tell them you're at 95. Now, why do I do that? Because the hiring managers always ask me this question when I didn't do this. I've been doing this for 25 years this way. When I used to not submit them with your salary, they would say to me, what are they looking to make? And they would ask me that before they interviewed you because they felt like, based on your qualifications, if they interviewed you, you would not be in the pay range. So since that happened over and over and over again, I started telling the hiring managers this before they even asked because I didn't want them to hem and haw about and take their time about interviewing because they were concerned you had so much qualifications that they're probably not going to be able to afford you. So I would tell them, hey, she is at 95. He is at 95. And they will be like, great. So you're in the middle of the road, right? Now I do that because I know it's going to get you the interview. Now that you've interviewed though, watch this, listen. And the hiring manager is like, yes, I finally got a great person. Thank you, Daniel, for introducing me to that person. I want to make this person an offer. Can you call them and see if they'll accept? And I'll call you back and say, hey, Samantha, guess what? How did the interview go? You would tell me it went great. Okay, great. If we made you an offer, are you ready to accept right now? You would say, yes, yes. And I would say, awesome, because the hiring manager just came to my office all excited. I don't know what you said in the interview, but they want to make you an offer. Okay. And then I'll say this. This is the magic part. Listen, I would say, now when you and I initially talked, we talked about 95. I did that so the hiring manager would definitely interview you. 95 is good for you, right? And you would say yes. I say, but now I'm going to tell the hiring manager you want 98. Would you accept 98 if we offered it? Type yes in the chat. What would your answer be? Everybody says to me, absolutely, I would. Yes, I'll take 98. Yeah, I'll take more. Absolutely. Great. Then this is what I do. I run into the hiring manager's office and say, hey, I just got off the phone with Scott and he's ready to accept the offer. He did ask me a question. He says, are we able to go to 98? Is that possible? If the hiring manager could make that decision right on the spot, they would tell me yes. They wouldn't even hesitate. They wouldn't say, why does he want 98? Like, what's the deal here? They wouldn't ask that. They would tell me, yeah, that's fine. Now, most of the time, they have to go back to the director or VP and let them know, hey, this person wants 98. The director or VP will then ask them, do you think they're worth it? They say yes. They come back to me and says, yes, we can do 98. I give you 98. Get you 98. Now, why do I do that? See, before you interview with the hiring manager, and this is what a lot of people, you make this mistake. You go in with this number, you know, I know the job is paying $90,000 to $100,000 a year, but if you ain't offering 140 right off the bat, you're not going to even get the interview. Every company's flexible. I'm the one that creates the salary surveys. I'm the one that makes sure that we have pay equity in the organizations. I know what pay is all about. Okay, so I'm the guy that does that. You don't go in like that. Remember, they don't know you. So asking them for something that they think is not worth it, overpriced, right? They're like, man, I'm just not, Dan, give me somebody else. So you don't do that. Okay. So the strategy that I share with people is to make sure that you get your foot in the door with everything. And then at the end, you can, once they are like totally invested in you, then we can talk about pay and how that, and get you more money. $1 more per hour is $2,080 a year extra for the company. That's nothing. $2 extra an hour is $4,200. $3 extra an hour in your salary is $6,300 a year. Companies don't care about that. That's why the hiring manager, the directors will say, are they worth it? Yes, they're worth it. I bet you for every 100 people that I've done this for in my career, like 1 out of every 100 don't get a pay increase. Everybody else does. All right. So that's how you do it. You sign the offer and then you do your thing. Now, how do you do that for yourself without me? When you get a written offer, thanks, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. When you get an offer, this is the email you send, and you send it exactly like this. You say, thank you first of all, we give you 3 days to make a decision. So on day 1, you're going to do nothing. You're not going to respond, nothing. You're just going to sit on it, go to the pool, eat with it, whatever you're going to do, but just don't sign it. On day 2, you are going to send an email back and it's going to say this. You're going to say, thank you very much for this offer. I am very excited about getting started with the team. So you're telling them you want to accept. And then you're going to say, I was wondering if the company is able to go to 98,000 or whatever your number is. And then you'll say, thank you very much. I cannot wait to get started. So you're telling them, I'm not turning this offer down. I'm just wondering if you can go to this new number. You're not saying go to this new number or else. You're saying, I was wondering if you do that. 99% of the time, they're going to say, yes, that's fine. Now, they may not say 98. They may say 96 or 97 or whatever, but you're going to get more every single time. And that's how you do it. So I'm going to open it up for questions and answers right now. You guys are sending me your resume. I can take 18 more resumes. Rashimi, Nicola, Shakila, Secret, B. Ojong, Nicholas, Shakur, I got your resumes and I'll review your resume for free today. And I'll tell you, tweak this, change that, add this, subtract this, so you can get more interviews that lead to high paying job offers. None of what I said right now would even matter if your resume is not right. I'm just telling you. Least you can do is send it to get a free review. Now watch this. I'm about to open it up for questions and answers, so you can leave your questions in the chat. Okay. My email address for all of the platforms is daniel@dscds.com. 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 Listen, nothing in your life changes just because you have the information. We have information all around us. Everything you can need to know, want to know, can learn, it's there. Your life only changes if you decide to take action, right? So action taken on the information that you get leads to change. So if you're in a position right now in your life and you're like, man, I just don't know how to break through, I don't know what to do, it ain't gonna change. You got to take action. You got to do something. I'm not saying work with me. You got to do something. Use the information that you are getting to take action. Because if you continue to sit on your bum, nothing's gonna happen. I promise you that. Nothing is gonna happen. So, information. There's a word of God. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Wisdom is the principal thing, but in all you're getting, get an understanding." So it is. Information is important, but in all you're getting, get an understanding, and then use it. Take a step. Do it. Right? Nothing's going to change unless you do it. All right. So I'm going to take your questions. All right. FMP says, Dan, what about sending a thank you email a day after the interview? You can do that. That's nice. Right. But don't waste your time if you don't have to. If you have a bunch of interviews, you could do that. That's nice. Thank you very much for interviewing me. But it doesn't move the needle, just so you know. All right. So if you have a question, I'll be more than happy to answer that question for you. Leave it in the chat. Wendy says, I have an interview today. I definitely need your advice. Wendy, I don't know what time your interview is, and I wish I could do an interview prep with you. I'm completely booked for the day, so I can't do that, but I hope this helps you. All right. So, all right. Did you get mine, Jay? Jabari. Yes, I got yours, Jabari. Yes, I did. All right. Red, can you tell us the truth about reaching out to recruiters via LinkedIn or DMs via email? Okay, so listen to me. This is a very good question, and I'm going to give you an answer that you may not expect. If you apply to a job and you know you're supremely qualified and you have the right resume, okay? Yes, please reach out to us on LinkedIn. Send us an email, call us, or even come by the office. Why do I say do that? Whenever you apply for a job, your information goes into our applicant tracking system. And the more people who apply after you, the more your resume gets buried down at the bottom. So if you call me and I go into the applicant tracking system and I can easily find you by your email address, you just made my life easier. So yes, call them, DM them, email them. Yes, I tell everyone on my fast track program, do that. Okay. All right. So resume sent. I haven't worked 8 to 5 for about 10 years. I do have previous experience. Any advice? Yes, Honeybee. So we look at what your core skill is, your problem solving ability, and you can position yourself in a way to be that solution. I don't care if you haven't worked in 15 years. Now, you may not be able to start at the VP or the director level, but somebody can definitely use what you have to offer in terms of your work experience. Okay. All right. If you have a question, leave it in the chat. I'll be happy to take care of it. Michelle says, how do you leverage connections within the industry? This is I want you to listen to me. You got to be careful with this. So imagine you refer me, say to someone, I know someone, and ask that someone to refer that person for you, or you name drop. What happens if they don't like that person? What happens if their relationship is broken? Well, you are part of that brokenness now, and no one's going to want to talk to you. So you should be able to do this on your own. If you're applying to 90 jobs a day, like I'm telling you, in 30 minutes, you don't need anybody to bring you forward. So you can try to do that, and that'd be great. I'm working with a guy right now. He's on my monthly coaching program. He is the number one C-suite executive at the Department of Transportation in the federal government. Okay? He's trying to make some moves. And I told him, name dropping ain't gonna help you. It's not. So stop trying to use it. Use the leverage you have is your ability to solve problems for as long as you've solved them. Okay, so just think about that. I sincerely thank you for this information. This has been amazing live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me see here. Do your approach and interview with the team member different than a hiring manager? Yes. If you have panel interviews, this is what I want you to remember. The person who has the highest rank, I call it rank because I was US Army. The person who has the highest title in the room, they're the actual final decision maker. Okay, so your hiring manager might be a senior manager or a director, but if a VP is in the room and that VP says yes to you being hired, there's a 99% chance you're going to get hired. But if they say no, there's 100% chance you're not going to get hired. So just keep that in mind. That's how you handle panels. All right, thank you guys so much. All right, so I could take another 20 resumes. SB, Robin, Monte, Sheila, I got your resumes. 20 more people. No, not even 20 more, 16 more people. If you send me a copy of your resume, I'll review it for free and then tell you fix this. The goal is you got to get more interviews. And the only way for you to get interviews is for you to have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. Is it better to contact the recruiter or the hiring manager? If the company has a recruiter, they're using recruiters to pre-screen candidates, or reach out to the recruiter so they can carry you to the hiring manager. That's the best thing to do. How can I send my resume to you? It's pinned in the chat. Daniel@dscdx.com. Daniel@dscdx.com. JBB says, why did I get a rejection letter after 9 interviews? Because they didn't like you. And it wasn't that the hiring manager didn't like you, because if you made it to that many interviews, they didn't like you. Whoever the highest ranking person was, they were like, nah, that person won't be a good fit for the team. So the hiring manager didn't have a choice. That's why you got rejected. Okay? All right. In Serbia, most of the time, they don't display it right away. It's like 50 to 50%. I'm not sure what your question is. Okay? All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. Remember, if you want me to review your resume, I'll review it for free. And if you want to know about the Fast Track program, just simply send me an email and in the title say Fast Track. Or you can DM me on this platform and say Fast Track. That's all you have to do is type Fast Track, and I'll send you the information for the Fast Track program. Military, 7 years, so majority of my experience is government, commercial. How do I use it? Okay, so I'm prior military as well, 10 years prior military. Nobody cares about that. Okay, we don't care about it. What we care about is the skill, your ability, that the ability or skill you learned while in the military to solve the problem that is specific to the person that you're interested in. Stop trying to leverage relationships to get your foot in the door. Don't do that. That's not the best way to get a job. You think it is, but it's not. Okay. If you follow what I tell people on my Fast Track program, 90 jobs a day, only takes you 30 minutes, 90 jobs a day, 30 on LinkedIn, 30 on ZipRecruiter, 30 on Indeed.com. You'll get more interview calls than you know what to do with. You'll be pooping your pants because you're getting so many people replying to you. So stop trying to leverage that. Okay. Resume and LinkedIn information, which one matters to a recruiter? Both of them do. Your LinkedIn profile cannot be different from your resume. To us, it sends a red flag, and we push you to the back of the stack. You won't get called. So that's why when I'm on the Fast Track program, when we create and fix a person's resume, we immediately fix their LinkedIn profile to match it. And we then tell them, go do the same thing on ZipRecruiter and Indeed.com. Because when you're applying, now listen to me, this is how it works. When you click apply, that information comes into our applicant tracking system, okay? Whatever that resume is. If I sneak back over to LinkedIn and I see it's something different in your profile, you're out. You're out. We think you're not being honest, okay? I'm just being straightforward with you, all right? Panel interviews are terrible. The only reason why companies do panel interviews is because they don't trust the decision making of the hiring manager. Some companies are truly collaborative, and that's just how it is. So you just got to deal with it. Do you think it's easy to get back into the working world after 3 years out due to injuries? Yes. This is how I explain it. If you haven't been on a bicycle riding it for 10 years. If I gave you a bicycle, can you ride it again? Yes, riding a bike is a skill. The skill is not gone. That hasn't, it may have diminished slightly. Technology may have changed, but you can still do the actual work. You won't be able to start it where you left, but you can still start somewhere and then utilize your expertise to work. So if I walked away from talent acquisition for 10 years, recruiting for the past 36 years have been the same thing. Find candidates, screen them, evaluate, and then get them to the hiring managers. The only thing that has changed about talent acquisition and recruiting is how we attract candidates. We've gone from newspaper ads to jobs to career sites, from career sites to job boards, from job boards to now a combination of job boards, social sites. Still, how do you attract candidates using those tools? That's the only thing that's changed. But the interview process, what questions are asked, the offer process, what hiring managers are looking for, it's all the same, still been the same, gonna be the same, it's still the same. Okay? So yes, you can get back into the work world. Everybody asks this question. Michelle says, "How many resume versions do you need?" Uno. I don't speak Spanish. One. You should not have more than one version of your resume. Now, people can fight me on that all they want to, but I'm telling you, if you make a mistake and send the wrong version, and we see that there's something different, you're out. You're not going to get that job. I don't care how much you want it. Okay. I tend to repeat words over and over when I'm interviewing. I'm usually nervous. Any advice? Yes. Practice. Kobe Bryant, you said this. I practice so much that in a game, it's second nature, right? That's what you have to do. Practice, practice, practice. I have a guide. It's called my interview cheat sheets, top 50 questions and answers most hiring managers will ask you and how to answer them the way that I would. You can go to my store. You can click the link tree, go to my website, and you can see it there. By the way, if you're on the fast track program or you have us do your resume, the top package, we actually give that to you for free. Okay, so practice. All right, practice, practice, practice. Let me see here. I want to make sure I'm answering your questions. All right, so I could take another 7 people. 7 people. If you want to email me a copy of your resume, I'll review it for free today. With resumes, can you please check my LinkedIn profile as well? Address is there, my resume. No, I can't. If you send me your resume for a free resume review, I will review your resume for free, but I will not review your LinkedIn profile. If you decide to have me take care of your resume, then we could talk then, but I'm not going to go and do both. Samito says, I am bilingual. Is it a good idea to include that in the ability on the resume? Okay, everybody, please pay attention. I had a guy reach out to me yesterday and say, Dan, should I add these certifications on my resume? And I said this. And so listen to me, Samito. I said, for the jobs that you are applying to, do those certifications matter? And he says, well, not really. I said, well, then as recruiters and hiring managers, we see that as fluff. That certification is taking up space. If bilingual is a requirement and that's something they want someone who is bilingual, yes, put it on your resume. If it's on your resume and they don't need it, they don't care about it anyway. Okay? So don't think it's a feather in your cap to put it on there and it's going to give you some sort of an advantage. It doesn't work like that. Okay? So I could take another 5 resumes. Reginald, Talisha, Tanika, Missy, Blessed, Gardenia, Red, Francisco, Rita. Gardenia, you sent it twice. Liz, I see your resumes. I could take 6 more people. If you email me a copy of your resume, I'll review it for free today and respond. The whole goal is for you to have a resume that is so good that it attracts the attention of hiring managers and you get more job interviews. None of this matters if you don't have a resume that a hiring manager says, yes, I want to talk to them. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. I will see you again on the next one. Take care.